Oi, nature has no need for saints. You see, even saints burn. Even superior species burned before they rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Saints burn, everybody burns. You touch fire, it burns. And by fire, I mean life. If you were to touch life really for what it is, you will burn. No questions about it. This is an elaborating for my last video about how nature is only interested and wants and moves toward superior species. My one problem that I have noticed from the last video is that I did not really specify or give examples of what I meant by superior species. And so one can come to mistake me for uh, somebody who is in favor of supernatural or superhuman powers. That is not what I'm referring to. So by superior species, I'm not saying that uh, people that can shoot lasers out of their eyes or clairvoyants or these sort of mentalist mind readers, these people that would be able to teleport and uh, this sort of a supernatural witchcrafts being real, all that. But I feel my mind, this mutant here that is PD, is limited, or I have put limits in myself in discussing those theories or those topics as they are too far advanced for me. And I am, in a way, finding it hard to conceive. And so I'm finding it hard to sort of like see a future where these things exist. And at the same time, if we were to say that reality is old now, then there is a chance that clairvoyants, mentalists, these sort of superpowers, supernatural powers, or as the Sanskrit or the Indians call siddhis, exist at this very moment. But I want to make the case that a superior species transcends interspecies relationships. It transcends other species as well. And so, an example of what I mean is there is an interspecies relationships with us and the mosquitoes. You see, the female mosquito needs your blood in order to continue and give birth to its youngs, to its children. You see, it needs your blood to be able to make little other mosquitoes. So you, if you ever been bitten by a mosquito, which you have, you are a father or a mother to many mosquitoes. You see, the mosquitoes, they need us. They are very important. They are vital to our environment. There is an interspecies relationships where we critically rely on one another. Then you might think, why does a human being rely on a mosquito? What's the point? Don't kill the mosquito. Let them bite you. Let them do the zzz. Sounds really nice. Let them, whatever, fly around you. I'm not just talking here. I'm not making sense or just telling you don't kill mosquitoes and then I go and whack them. No, I literally one time went and slept near a mosquito puddle with no blanket or anything and let them bit me all over. Just for the fun of it. And then I woke up with all these spots like monkeypox, little mosquito bites all over me. Anyways, that's an example of an interspecies relationships where nature is collaborating with itself in the form of mosquitoes and human beings, and so forth. With mosquitoes taking the hemoglobin blood, some sort of cells from a human being and transforming them somewhere. Whatever it is doing, that I cannot pretend to understand. Some scientists will have to do some kind of a research and tell us a story on why the mosquitoes are doing such a thing. And it will just be a nice, you know, nighttime story doesn't really have any implication on our behalf of what we need to do. We don't need to do anything other than not to kill the mosquitoes. Superior species, let's discuss that here. First of all, I do not see myself as a superior species. There are limitations. And those limitations, I make them very clear from the onset. And some people may mistake those uh, realization or awareness of my limitation as humbleness. When I say I'm illiterate, I mean that literally. I am illiterate. I'm illiterate. It's not a joke. I am very illiterate, and I try not to be literate. I don't see a point in making any changes. You see, because my mutation allows me to see that whatever I have been born as or whatever I am, the survival of this biological mechanism that is me is already there. It's inbuilt in me. It's already there. It's not. It doesn't need any change. Doesn't need any sort of improvement, so to speak. But here I'm wasting time because it's been 6 minutes and I still have not yet gave you a satisfying example of what a superior species is. For centuries, we have been told that we have to emulate these saints, these teachers of all mankind, to be, to reach for something higher, that we are spiritual, what we are human beings having a spiritual experience of a kind, and we must ascend to a higher level, to our higher self. This is nothing but delusion. There is nothing, there is nothing higher than you or I. The I is just a first person singular pronouns. That's it. I need to eat. I need to go to sleep. I will run. I. It's just the I. There's no higher I, there's no higher self. And so that's what I mean by superior species is the ending of your fantasies and delusions. You see? Nature is in a way instigating you, gaslighting you to be delusional, and at the same time mutating itself to see the delusion. But then it will tell the seer or the person or the species, the mutant that comes to see the game that nature is playing on itself, it'll make him see that what it is looking at is also an illusion. And if this mutant is to accept that the seer has himself or herself, the I is just the illusion, it is free. It then becomes a superior species. It does not mean that now they can fly through the air and zap, 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 control your mind. But it comes to understand that in its infancy, it had a lot of needs and desires, and some of these needs and desires were an attempt on its behalf. You see, nature in its infancy is trying to impress itself, is trying to be better. It's insecure, it's alone, it's afraid. What I'm describing is a child to a 90-year-old human being that has not grown or has not mutated to become a superior human being. A superior human being just means somebody who is not in conflict with its society, with its environment, with its natural habitat. Most species have reached this sort of superior species yet, but they are still, uh, nature, I should say, is still experimenting with them. And so it's not done yet. There is no end point. There is no, oh, here's the final model, you know. And this will be the case with the computers, or should I say the AI that we will make. There will be no final sort of end product for an AI that we'll ever make and say this is it. This is the one. This is the CPT Ethereum 1804 9000 Kakarot OP. No, it's not gonna happen. You see. We will keep tweaking it, improving it, shining it. Nature's doing the same thing. But unlike human beings, when we would fiddle with an AI or a computer and improving it to make our lives easier or increase our knowledge, nature is just experimenting without malice aforethought. It's experimenting without an agenda. It's experimenting without a philosophy, a reason. Well, someone will argue and say, oh, well, no, no, you think nature is just doing all of this by itself. It's very intelligent. If nature was to have an endpoint, let's say it has an answer of what it wants to create, then it's not intelligent. If it has a limited, infinite shift and sort of shape shifting and engineering of itself and experimentation, while experimentation, random, then it is truly intelligent because it does not have an answer to what it is doing, but it's just doing it. Such is the nature of a superior being. By the way, this conversation, we have gone past race here. The race is no longer a concept of its it's a concept that is not of use to it. It has no use to it at this point. And this is where my little bit of theory, which I may add, of communal interspecies coming together as a community and collaborating. And I use that word lightly, collaborating, because we have no choice here. You see, you have no free will but to participate. And if you were to even take yourself out, this body here is immortal. Your body, your bones, your flesh, whatever, it becomes a source of nutrient, excuse me, a source of nutrients. Your body becomes food for someone, fertilizer for something, and it continues, and so on and so forth. It never really goes anywhere. You see, so the immaculate nature and the beauty of things is that you think that you will die, but you are actually quite immortal. And I don't mean you as an individual. The I, PD, will disappear with my nonsense and rambling. But what will surely still remain is this body here. And the same as you as well. So that's something that we share in common, you see. A superior species can be a cockroach and it can be human. It has no discrimination whatsoever. Nature does not discriminate and it does not sympathize. Sympathy is weakness to nature in its experimenting to nowhere, I guess. In nowhere. A cockroach are hard to kill, they're hard to die. You cut the head off, it'll still live for a couple of days. And so it's just my assumption, and may it be right or wrong, it's of little consequence to me. But of all the species that will live on this planet, come and go, perhaps the cockroach will outlive all of us. And in continuing with this theory of superior species, the cockroach might actually evolve to walking on 2 feet like us and becoming indestructible, unlike a human being, which if it were to be stabbed, popped, shot, it will goosh and bleed out and die. You see, the cockroach might live a bit longer because whatever nature will throw at it, whether it be toxins, viruses, it will outlive it. So that the cockroach will be a superior species in the sense of fortified body that would be able to withstand all of nature's challenges and may actually evolve to experience consciousness. Whether it will be past the level of dolphins, I don't know. I don't know. That is a scary thought when you think about it. Scary in the way that it's beautiful, it's good, not that it's terrifying. Don't let it happen. Kill all the cockroaches. No, not. The war in the future will not be between aliens and man, it will be between cockroaches and man. Our future children will be battling the cockroaches. If that war does happen and take place in the future, I'm on the side of the cockroaches, and we will win. So the cockroaches, please bring me back to life, so we can kill all of these human beings. That's a joke. I'm joking. I'm just having fun. A superior species sees life for what it is, not what it wants it to be. A superior species understands that anger, all those other emotions, are naturals and perfectly part of the ecosystem. Nothing to be changed, nothing to be condemned, nothing to be improved, nothing to be uh, get rid of. So get rid of your anger. You're too angry. No, the superior individual or species understands that nature is expressing itself in it, and it allows it to express itself naturally without this sort of neurosis. You see, in order to be a superior species, you can't be neurotic about life. A superior species has a sharp form of memory because it understands that it itself is memory. Man is memory. A superior species of man will understand that he is or she is nothing other than memory. A superior species will also understand that the brain plays a very small role on how it navigates its surrounding, its reality. You see, we at this current point of time, at the level of our species mutation, we think that the brain plays a big role. The brain is this, the brain is that, the brain control our neural cortex, the frontal lobe is this, and it's what is responsible for this sort of function and that, and the neurons are interconnect. All of this is nonsense. The brain may actually play maybe less than 5%, and the rest of the other uh, uh, functions are natural. The heartbeat perfectly pumps blood circulate through the system. Your thymus gland helps you fight viruses, and it also, once you become an adolescent, starts shrinking so you can live in the world of ideas and not be cheated and made a fool of. And it also can be activated and reactivated, guess what, through psychedelics and other forms of illicit substances that activate it to react. It's not the brain. This is where some people will look at me like I'm crazy. I'm not an expert, because you have to be an expert to give your opinion. Well, I'm telling you, the opinions of someone who you put on a pedestal, above yourself and give the authority because they went through a few obstacles which you have set as the barometer of what that person is. So I'm not saying I'm smarter than a surgeon. I need to give my advice on surgeons who's operating on a heart here. You see, that is not what I'm saying. I will never claim that, because I will kill that man on the operating table with my incompetency and shaking of hand, slicing him. And so I can never claim that as someone who's an expert surgeon, my theories and my opinions are much more superior to him. But when it comes to life, it's something that we all live, and how the body functions, and how the this intelligence of the body is organizing, reorganizing, recharging, regaging, reshaping itself. I argue that we can all become experts, and it is a superior species place to know that there are limitations to its function. There's limitations to my function that I can't perform surgery on a human being. You can say that well, then how can you be a superior species if you impose those sort of limitation on yourself? I'm imposing them on myself because I know that surgery, like anything else, can be learned, but I just have no interest in it whatsoever. And even if I was to take interest, could I comprehend, or am I disciplined enough to go through the rigorousness to become a surgeon? No. Am I disciplined enough to go through the rigorous of life? Yes. And that's where the superior species theory falls or picks up and is validated. It relies on your understanding, nothing else. It does not rely on hundreds of Nobel laureates' opinions. It relies on your opinion. One could argue you could be someone of high intellectual academic stature and achievement, but if nature has not chose you to be a superior species, then there would be no understanding of what the other person is saying. As much as you would like to try to understand them and entertain their theories, it's just a bit beyond you, you see. All these I say them with I wouldn't even use the word awareness or psyche or consciousness. All of these are nonsensical to me, but they make communicating between people a game, a sort of illusory game. You know what's not a game? Let's say we're sitting on it. That would be a game too now, because I'm just explaining to you without no visuals. Say you want this phone. You're sitting across me behind the camera right there. Hand me the phone, Petey. Boom. I give you the phone. We just communicated. But let's say you sitting over there say, explain to me uh, the difference in dimensions, the first dimension, second dimension, third dimension, fourth dimension. What are these? Explain to me, Petey. Well, yeah, I come to you and say, well, they are nothing. They are nothing but illusions. The fourth dimension is something that we cannot see, but we entertain it as an idea, sort of a metaphysical jerking off of ourselves. It has no meaning. And so my level, and I argue that this is the radical part, that a superior species only has use for things in the now. So it's able to say, pass me the phone. There's the phone. You're communicating on a level where there's an exchange in the now, but not in the future. So we're not discussing black holes and sitting there seriously. A superior species will not have time for them to discuss black holes, because you will be pulling its strings, and it's seen, this is the superior species, that you as a puppeteer, a puppet master, sorry, you are pulling its string to discuss string theory or black holes or the cosmos. Right now, if you were watching this from start to finish, I am just pulling your string, stringing you along to a bunch of nonsensical theories that if you are not a superior species who can just watch this for its own amusement and entertain itself, right? You find this entertaining, I find this entertaining, YouTube pays me, there's a nice exchange there. But if you're a low level mutant, low species sort of person that's not a high sort of functioning of of your organism, of your body, of the thing you call you, yourself, wherever you are, you would think that there is something, there's meaning to what I'm saying. And you'll waste your time trying to be smart about it, trying to argue. A superior species is a man whoever, I don't know who came up with that quote, this quote that I'm about to. Okay, this quote here, now you may have heard it before. Man takes seriously what the gods made for fun. That quote is just a quote to many lower species. It makes no sense to them. But to a superior species, or man, woman, that's all that they would ever have to yield in life, nothing else. And so don't take seriously what I'm creating for fun. It will bring you a lot of misery. This theory of superior species and mutations in human nature, and sorry, in human biology and in nature, it's just play. What the Hindus call lila, or just playing. Please don't take and this seriously and go forth and use it as a philosophy. Use it as an ideology to prop yourself up and call yourself a superior species. Because if there's one thing I have seen in other superior species, is that I couldn't tell their bones from that of slaves, of that of normal men. I couldn't tell their brains different from that of a low grade moron that is not a superior species but a low species. There is no difference. And if you are going to create that separation, just like we made the mistakes of creating separation in nature, where we say the animals are on the other side, and we, the chosen ones, are on this side. What a joke! That's one of the greatest jokes ever. That we have separated ourselves, put one species on this end and the other one on this end. It's a great joke, isn't it? Don't make that mistakes. Just like I would say, don't try all your life to become a saint. You will burn, you will die in the end. Don't try to be anything other than you are. A superior species is nature experimenting with itself. You cannot be one by choice. You cannot be one by learning the how to, like there's some kind of a roadmap. But we may be able to fool ourselves through genetic engineering or come close to it. If we invent some sort of machinery that would allow us to emulate a superior species by taking control, like nature, because we are part of nature, and experimenting with a human being. So maybe giving it psychopathic sort of, add a bit of psychopath in them, add a bit of empathy, add a bit of this and that, a bit of greed, then we can make a perfect species of what a superior human being could be. I would only have this advice for both those people in the future and anybody that will use this theory to create some sort of an invention, a machine that will that would be responsible for creating a perfect species so they can fit in and not even fit in but thrive in life. My warning to you is because it can be very real. What I'm sharing with you, it would be very real. At one point, it's just a joke, but in the other hand, knowing how human beings are capable of anything, and we make the impossible possible. We manage to invent a machine that creates perfect species or superior species that will thrive, not only thrive, but somehow transcend what we call life, transcend all our ancestors and everything we have struggled to become. Like in the movie Lucy, I will say one thing. Please do not give that machine to the government. Do not give it to the state. Hide it. Do not give it to the rich people. In fact, destroy it. Don't make it come to life. But if you, whoever invented it, want to make a lot of money and get rich and just, then you have my go ahead. Sell it to the government, sell it to some dodgy looking character, sell it to some bad actors, sell it to anybody you want and make your money. That I can understand at least. But if you are going to be like a Oppenheimer and create a bomb and give it to the state or the government, you are a fool. You are a damn fool. And I will even regret sharing this uh, meaningless insight about superior species and interspecies relationship with you. But then again, did I really have a choice? Did I really make the decision to share it with you? Or was I just a puppet used by nature to communicate it to you? Anyways, I feel like the level of communication here is so far is so far, but at the same time close. It's so simple, but it will be made complex. And that's why you see me pose a lot and act like this, like an intellectual, this sort of fake pseudo intellectual, wagging my hand. It's pathetic. But be, do whatever you want, man. Just know that superior species are not even chosen by nature. If it hits you, it hits you. If the bug beats you, it beats you. If you are a superior species or not, none of this matters at all. At all. Goodbye.